Hello and welcome to episode 18 of Always Patriot, the John Jay Soccer Podcast. As always, I am Brendan Horton, joined by Coach Robert Seipp. We are fresh off of our James Caswell Memorial game, just getting home late night on Saturday night. Yeah, all right.
Got the T-shirts to
yeah,
prove it.
we do. And how you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good. Tired, but good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Excited to do this now.
Yeah, it's been a long week for us, right? I thought we had some good practices during the week, and then we had Arlington on Friday and Ketchum on Saturday, right? Two real big rivalry games for us. So excited to talk about those two games. And tonight's game against Ketchum was the James Caswell Memorial game, the 21st that we've had. Good to see some of the former players. I think Joey Johnson was in attendance today, so that was good to see him. Dan Ritchie was also there, right? Dan didn't play with James, but always nice to see, some of the former guys come out. Now they've got kids that are playing, so they bring their kids to games. It's awesome. It's awesome. It just means we're getting old, Coach. I guess that's what it means.
It does. I guess it beats the alternative, right?
That is true. I was just going to say it is a good thing now. It is a good thing. Yep, it sure is. Yeah. So what do you think? Let's jump into it. So like I was saying, I feel like we had a really good week of practice. I really felt like, our guys were on the right path. I thought the best practice we had, to be honest with you, Coach, was Thursday night when we brought the guys in to the classroom. There were some thunderstorms. We had a practice, I think, 6:30 to 8 or something like that. There were thunderstorms rolling through. So we just brought them into the classroom and we just did some film work with them, right? And just showed them, some different clips of the first 5 games that we had. And just tried to point out, some things that we wanted to see a little bit different from them. And we did some stuff on the whiteboard too, a little chalk talk. And I really thought that we were sort of getting through to them, but it didn't pan out that next day against Arlington. I'm not too sure why, but I guess poor coaching on our part, right? I guess we can't blame anybody else but ourselves.
I guess, it must be, right? Like it's not translating quite yet. It is a work in progress, to say the least. And not just that it didn't translate, but it's like the specific things that we were looking to try to address really didn't show much improvement yesterday versus Arlington. We addressed certain things defensively, certain things in how we move the ball, certain aspects of our set pieces, and they just continued to be areas of difficulty and struggle for us, unfortunately. But yeah, listen, we'll get out there next week and try and continue. It's been an uphill battle, though. It's definitely been frustrating for sure. I'm sure for you as well, but it is maddening a little bit because, on Tuesday, the season will be half over, and I guess we're hoping to have made more progress by now or to be in a better place. We have a decent record, but we're definitely not playing the soccer type, style, and quality that we were hoping for or that we expect.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's frustrating for you, frustrating for me. I think it's frustrating for a lot of our players too.
Sure.
Living with one of those players, Austin. He's frustrated too. But I still feel good about this team. They are still very coachable kids. They do definitely listen to us, and just for whatever reason, my only thought was like maybe they were thinking too much out there. But you're right. We specifically, spoke about us changing the point of the attack, and just getting your head up and recognizing, when the numbers are going to work for you and when the numbers aren't going to work for you and when you have to go someplace else. And we had clipped all these things, on the video for them. We had sent them the video before the practice or before the team meeting, asked them to watch it, and then we went over it with them, in the classroom there. And I don't know, for whatever reason, it just didn't stick. And just to give you some stats from the Arlington game that we're talking about. So we had this meeting, chalk talk film session on Thursday. And I thought Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's practice went pretty well too. But but Thursday, I really thought we were able to really get through to the guys. On sometimes when you just see it on the screen, it's like, look, this is what we're saying, this is what you're doing. We're sort of forcing it down one side, and you can't do that. The numbers aren't working here. You got to try to pick up your head and find where space is and take some peeks and make yourself available for the ball. Right, create a passing lane, take some peeks, know what you're going to do with it when you do get that ball. Just have a feel for the game and just, try to basically run the other team around, play some keep away. You know what I mean? If nothing else, get that ball out into space. and we just weren't able to do that. I'll give you the stats for the Arlington game. Arlington had 227 completed passes. We only had 145. Arlington had 58% possession. We only had 42% possession. Yet we won the game 2-1. All right, so it was frustrating from a standpoint of, we're not able to dominate the game. We're not able to keep possession of the ball. We're not able to string passes together. I know we were frustrated at halftime. I was really frustrated at halftime. Right, I kind of really lost it on my guys. One of my former players from years ago, Brian Kennedy, was there. I think he was sort of listening to halftime, and when we came out of that halftime huddle, he was like, "Well, coach, I haven't heard that in a while from you," because it was just frustrating. Like you said, I think we're frustrated. The kids are frustrated. And I was really looking forward to the game. I really thought, like, man, this is going to be our coming out party. We're like really going to play well. But we didn't. And like I said, 227 completed passes for Arlington, 145 for us. But here's the good news. In the first half, we got destroyed. Arlington completed 141 passes, and we only completed 67. So they more than doubled us there in the first half. In the second half, it was much closer. We were much closer. Arlington completed 86 passes, and we completed 78. So, we were almost even in that second half, but still, in our minds, not playing great soccer.
Right. And not that those are the be all end all, measurements of anything, but they are indicative of the way the game went, right? Like Arlington controlled that first half. And, if not for our goalkeepers, we it's a game that we lose. And I think from our perspective, like, this is like the third or fourth game where that's been the case. And it's like, you can only go back to that well so many times where you're outplayed and come out on top. But, eventually the ball is going to bounce the other direction. So we're frantically trying to improve the quality of our play and not to take these, wins for granted. And again, we were fortunate to come out on top against Arlington. And, the second half was a much better, performance. It still wasn't good, but it was significantly better than the first half. But it's just, those numbers are very telling for me because they were able to control the play. They were able to switch the ball with relative ease. We were not able to switch the ball. We continue to go down the gut of the field and just get countered on. It's like banging your head against the wall because our guys just play right down the strongest backbone of the defense. And I'll never forget when I first started coaching in Guilderland with Mike Canali, he would always say, like, if you love defending, when you get the ball, just play it right up the middle because you're going to get another opportunity right again. He's like, if you just love defending, play it right up the middle because you're going to get a chance to defend 5 seconds from now. And it's just been like that over and over and over and over again, where we just try and, play the ball up the middle and not use the width of the field. So it's, hopefully we'll figure it out. We'll continue to try.
Yeah, you do bring up a good point. First of all, our goalkeepers have been fantastic, right? All season long. I think we said it before the season started. We've got the best goalkeepers, I think, in the section, at least of the 7 teams that we've played or the 7 games that we've played. We've had the best goalkeeper in all 7 of those games. And not only the best goalkeepers, the best goalkeepers, right? We have 3 kids that are absolutely fantastic. Tyke Johnson, Nicky Nasso, and Braden Cole. I mean, these 3 guys are just awesome and definitely carrying us. So that's first and foremost. But secondly, you are right about the stats. It's not the end all be all, the stats, but for us, it's I think we use these stats because it's indicative of the problems that we're having and the things that we're not doing well, right? We are not completing passes. We're not keeping possession of the ball. We are not moving the ball. We don't have a rhythm as a team on offense. So that's where we're looking at our completed passes. Like, we want more completed passes. We want those completed passes up around 300, and we're only getting half of that, in the Arlington game. So again, you're right. It's not a be all end all. I mean, the be all end all is the number of goals, right? We scored 2 goals. Arlington scored 1. So I mean, that's determines who wins the game. But for you and I, and for the players too, it's just an indication of how we're playing on offense. Are we completing passes? And then on the other end, if the opposing team is completing a lot of passes, defensively, we're just struggling as well. And that's the other thing that we're trying to work on, getting pressure on that ball, not fouling guys, not diving in, but getting pressure on the ball, and then, forcing it to help, forcing them to use their weaker foot, forcing them to play in a very tight area where guys back in behind can help and read that pressure, and we're able to, even if we don't win back possession of the ball, severely limit, what the opposing team is able to do against us. But I mean, we're just like Swiss cheese, right? I mean, guys, there was one play I remember where they had played a ball right down the middle of us, right? Like right through our
So there's center
mids, and it
forward,
was just
yeah.
like, jeez, like,
Yeah.
so it's just an indication that, again, you do make up a great point. These are not,
Right.
these stats
And
don't mean everything,
and
but
the
it's
reason
really an indicator.
the reason we look at them is because, like, we see what we see on the field. All right. So that's one way we tell the players, here's what we see. Well, here's statistics that also bear out what we see. Oh, and also here's video that bears out
Right.
what we see too. Like,
Right.
I don't know what else you want. Like, it's
Right.
not just my opinion on the matter. Like, this is all pointing in the exact direction of what we're saying. So, it's just sometimes it's a matter of convincing. So I'm hoping at this point they're convinced. And now it's a matter of rectifying the problem, or getting guys on the field who will do so. I will say on positive, because you mentioned it, our guys have done a really good job of not fouling and not diving in. All right. Like
Yeah.
and credit to them, because we've had so many problems over the years with that, and they have done a really good job. It's now getting them to be able to not just not do that, but to apply appropriate pressure, to force in the direction you want, to shrink the field, and to make them play in a condensed space to turn the ball over. And that's where we're really struggling. And it's not a matter of like one or two guys. It's as a collective unit. We're just really, really struggling. Like, teams are moving the ball east and west just so easily. And it's leading to our guys have to run a crazy amount. Sean Vibrock, our attacking midfielder, ran 6.25 miles against Arlington.
Yeah.
That's so much. And I would venture
Yeah.
to say like 75% of it was defensively
That's the
moving
problem.
east-west
Yeah.
across the field, right?
Yeah.
It's not making
Yeah.
darting runs into the box to score
Right.
goals. It's and I'd love to see him be able to run less, because we're playing more intelligent defense and be able to expend more of that energy when we have the ball.
So true. I mean, it's really so true, and those are great stats. We love those GPS trackers that we have. I mean, not all of our kids have them, but again, like you say, really valuable information for our players to see some stats that are sort of backing up, what we're observing as coaches and what they're experiencing too on the field. But you're right. I mean, we have done a better job defensively, not fouling. But yeah, just getting pressure on that ball, and like you say, not allowing the opposing team to just play at will against us and go right, left, down the middle, back. We're really trying to just limit the space that they play in, and we're struggling to do that, almost going backwards, right? Like we had some pretty good success over the summertime with that. And for whatever reason, we just we're going backwards. Maybe obviously the level of play is much higher now in the fall. Obviously, summer league, you're getting whoever can make games for us and opposing teams. But it's definitely frustrating because they're just some pretty simple, basic soccer concepts, right? I mean, we're not the Vince Lombardis of soccer here, right?
No.
We're just asking guys to put guys under pressure and force them in a particular direction and have guys anticipate back and behind. And for whatever reason, we're not able to do that. And then on the offensive end too, we just can't seem to string passes together, can't seem to get possession in the final third, can't seem to get into the box. I mean, yeah, I don't want to belabor this point, but how many games has it been since we've had an offensive penalty kick? I mean, it's been 2.5 years, right? I mean, it's crazy.
2 more games since we mentioned it last week. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that's just an indicator that we don't have possession of the ball in the box, and if we can't string passes together, then how are we going to be able to string passes together in the box? That's going to be the toughest part to do it, right? In the final third of the field. I mean, a lot of teams can do it in the defensive third because there's not that much pressure and you usually have numbers up in the defensive third. It's a little easier in the middle third. In that final third, it's tough to keep possession of the ball. It's tough to string passes together. It's tough to get possession of the ball in the box. We're just really struggling with doing that, unfortunately. But we'll keep at it, and I think our players will keep at it. And like I said, I'm frustrated, you're frustrated, the guys are frustrated, but I don't think, I think we're all frustrated because we know we can play so much better. That's the good news,
Yeah, and
But the bad news, like you say, is the season's almost over here, or almost halfway over.
I think everyone's committed to trying to make it better and improve, right? I think our guys are right there, ready and willing. It's a matter of able, right? Like they are ready and willing. It's just a matter of if they can make it happen and if we can help them make it happen, So
Yeah.
we'll head back to the drawing board and see if we can have a good session on Monday and come out and look to improve on Tuesday.
Yeah, and it'll be tough the second time we play against Arlington, right? I mean, they certainly, like we said, that the stats, showed that they certainly had the better of the play during the first half for sure. And, towards the end of the game, I thought we did a pretty good job those last 5 minutes of just, hanging on and just going
Yeah.
into a defensive posture. But again, I don't mean to nitpick, but like a couple of decisions in those final 5 minutes where like guys are dribbling the ball, guys are making 5 yard
5 yard
passes.
pass.
Like when you're up by a goal with 2 minutes to go, the last thing you want to do is make a 5 yard pass 30 yards away from your own goal. We're just screaming at the kids, launch it, launch it, aim for
Right.
the corner
Yeah.
flag. Just get the ball out of here
High,
so that
far,
we
and
can
wide.
push up. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
And I don't know, for whatever reason, sometimes I think our guys are in the mentality of, our coaches are saying, we got to string passes together. And there's a guy right near me. So, let me just move the ball and give it to him. Well, not with 2 minutes to go in the
Yeah.
game. And we're just trying to hang on here, And
Yeah.
we
There's a
brought,
time and a place.
yeah, Yep. So,
So we
but
got
we
out of
shouldn't
there
complain.
2-1. Yeah.
Let's end Arlington. I mean, Jay Arlington games are always awesome games, really competitively played. So we don't mean to complain. Arlington's got a great team again this year. And it's certainly going to be very tough when we go to Arlington.
Yeah. At the end of this week, I just continued to think that Class AAA is just wide open for anybody who's gonna really get improved between now and the end of the season, minus maybe New Rochelle, who it sounds like they're really, really excellent, and I can't wait to play them in our last game. It'll be a great lead into the sectional tournament. But I mean, everyone else is really just, if you get the bounce that day or if you play well that day, so far midway through the season.
Yeah, so true. So true. Yeah, for Arlington to have a record of 2-3, at least when they played us on Friday. After that game, they were 2-3. It's crazy, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they've got a good squad. They're a really good team.
I believe they drew with Ossining tonight 1-1.
Okay, wow.
Which I'm sure was a really good game. Like,
Yeah.
that's just, again, more
Goes
teams.
to your point, yeah.
Right.
Any team can win on
Uh,
any day, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
it's
and
one of the most frustrating parts, again, of soccer. We mentioned it before, but I think that, again, we'll get to tonight's game against Ketchum a little bit, but we're 5-1-1 now, and I think the two best games we played are the games we lost and tied. Right?
it's a great point. It's a great point. I didn't even think about that, but you're absolutely right.
That's what I was thinking about on my drive home from tonight. I'm like, we play, I thought tonight we played the best game that we've played. We drew, and the second best game we lost 1-0 to North Rockland, and then we played pretty poorly 5 times and won them all.
Right, right. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah, I think the only consistent thing on, the games that we lost and tied where we didn't score, right?
Yeah.
We lost to North Rockland 1-0, and tonight we tied Ketchum 1-1, and I think Ketchum went into the game 1-4-1, right? So I mean, 1 win, 4 losses. And this is a team that played right with us. I mean, it was a 0-0 game, really, very competitive game. So it goes to your point, I mean, Ketchum doesn't have a good record, but they've got an awfully good team, and all these teams are just really competitive, and it's anybody's sectional tournament for sure. We do hear Mamaroneck and New Rochelle have excellent teams. We don't play Mamaroneck. We will play New Rochelle at the end. Both coaches are great coaches, right? And both programs are great programs. But so maybe those two guys are the two front runners. Who knows? But
Yeah, could be.
Certainly of the teams we've played so far, boy, I mean, they are all really competitive games. Yeah, and then so tonight, let's talk about tonight, I guess. So tonight we tied Ketchum 0-0, right? It was our 21st annual James Caswell Memorial game where we honor James. James was a player on our 2000 team that won the state title, and he passed away in 2005. And starting in the fall of 2005, we've honored his memory with a memorial game, and then at the end of the season, we award a $1,000 scholarship to a graduating senior, and we've done that, for the past 20 years.
Yeah,
And
giving away
and this,
$20,000.
yeah, and this year will be no different. Yeah, and Steve Caswell, James's father, has been really instrumental in keeping his memory alive, and he's our announcer. He announces all of our games on Local Live, gives you the play-by-play of any home game. I know my parents love it as they watch their grandkids play and listen to their grandkids play. Steve and our booster club too does a great job of trying to fund this scholarship fund. And you, Coach, have done a great job getting local businesses involved. Thanks to Goal Evolution, who donated these beautiful T-shirts that both of you and I are wearing.
Yeah.
They donated T-shirts to our team. They donated
And
T-shirts to Ketchum, right? For the game as well. So that was really, really nice of Goal Evolution. They are right across the street from
the complex.
the East Frisco Soccer Complex. Yeah. So really appreciate all of their help in doing that and all of their support. And then all the former players, right? The guys that have played with James over the years, just sending in donations, to Mr. Caswell, and they send them right to me. So if anybody's listening, one of the former players who's looking to donate, you just make the check out to John J. Soccer, and you can mail it right to me. At 67 Seaman Road, Stormville, New York. 12582. I live right around the corner from Mr. Caswell, but I see him at every one of our games, right? He's not only at our home games announcing, but he's at our away games doing stats for us. He's just so very involved. And I tell the kids every year as we have this game, you guys didn't know James, but you know James because you know Mr. Caswell. And, this is a guy that's got no kids in the program, no ties to the program. And 25 years after his son graduated, he's still a part of the program. So he loves John J. Soccer, Coach, just like you and I do. So it's always nice to honor James's memory in that game, and it was a really good competitive 0-0 tie against Ketchum. Yeah, really good game.
Yeah, always competitive with us and them, just like us in Arlington. They're always, can go either direction, regardless of whether a team is up or down. And it was very much that way tonight. I do think that we played better. I thought it was the best game we played this year. We moved the ball better. We don't have the stats from the game yet, obviously, but when those become available, I do feel confident that our completed passes will be up. Our corner kicks, I think we had probably at least a dozen, which speaks to us trying to get around the edge, trying to get on the flank. Still not enough, because a comment someone said to us after the game, do you guys have something against playing the ball out wide? But I do think that it will show some improvement, both in attack and defensively. We just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. We had some chances. We didn't generate too many really great chances from the flow of play, but we had a lot of set pieces. We had a lot of long throws. We had a lot of corners. And we did have a couple of chances that were deflected wide. Austin had a really good chance. In the first half, he had a header that hit the crossbar. I think we hit the post another time. Austin had a great look at the goal on a ball that was just deflected wide in the second half. I think we hit the post again in the second half. So you're a couple inches away from a different result. And you and I have said the entire time that we care more about the quality of play. So even though that it's a draw and it's unfortunate because, we're 1-1-1 in our league now, it's definitely a step in the right direction, I think, and hope that we can continue in that direction and move positively both in and out of possession.
Yeah, it was, you're right. It was a good game tonight. I thought we did have a lot of corners, and I wonder how many corners we will get when the stats come in, and I'll try to put those stats up. So if you're watching this podcast, we'll once we get the stats to come in, I'll put a little picture up so you don't have to see our ugly mugs, and you can actually see the stats of the Ketchum game. So we'll get that up. Huddle does a great job for us. So all of our games are filmed by Huddle and filmed by Local Live, but all of our home games anyway. But Huddle does our stats for us, and they do a fantastic job. And I know we did have a bunch of corners, but we had a bunch of long throw-ins too, right near the corner flag. So I know those stats won't they don't tell us how many throw-ins we had inside the 18, but we had a bunch of them, probably just as many at corners as we
For
had.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So and we've got some guys that can chuck it, right? Michael Versace is the best on our team at chucking it, but Justin Brandcamp, Lucas Reverso, even Austin Seipp can chuck it pretty far. I think in the first half, I think it was off of a corner kick. Uriel headed the ball and it hit the post, right? It pinged off the post and went right back into the Ketchum goalkeeper, who was on the ground, right back into his gut, Yeah, it was just like, oh man. And you're right, then Austin, headed it and it hit off the crossbar. And you're right, Austin had a great chance in the second half, and some Ketchum defender got in the way and deflected it. But I mean, that thing was a bullet. Had to be.
Yeah.
As long as it was on frame, that was going to be a really difficult save for the Ketchum keeper. And I think Sean Vibrock had a couple of chances. Justin Ortiz, there was one that was on his left foot too. We were really surprised that one didn't go in the back of the net. But Ketchum had some good chances too, right?
Yeah.
They countered on us all the time. And once again, Tyke Johnson and Nicky Nasso, came up huge for us. The star of the game, so at the end of all of these Caswell games, at the end of the season, we award a $1,000 scholarship to a graduating senior who reminds us most of James. But also in the game, we award an MVP of the game and this can go to any player. It could go to freshman through senior. Who has the best sort of defensive standout. And that was tough to do tonight because I thought Justin Brandcamp had a great game. Jacob Matthew played really well coming off the bench for us. He is such a good defender. I thought, Tyke and Nicky Nasso were fantastic, but Uriel continues to be our best defender.
He's our best player.
He's
our best player.
Yeah,
he's so good.
He's our best player. He really is.
So good.
Yep. And so he got the MVP tonight, which was nice to see. But yeah, he is such a good soccer player and such a good kid too. So happy for him that he takes home that plaque. But I know he would have traded that
for a win.
For that header that went off the post as opposed to going into the back of the net. Yeah, Uriel's just awesome. Congratulations to him for that. And thanks to Ketchum, too. We had said this last week, but Ketchum agreed to play us on a Saturday night. Ketchum agreed, to play us in this Memorial game. They agreed to change the schedule and change the date of the game. So we really appreciate that. And it was really nice, too, right? Coach Axelson and Coach Chappis coach youth soccer, and they organized an East Fishkill youth team and a Wappingers youth team to walk out with us on the field for the national anthem. So that was pretty cool too. So it was just a really nice, community night.
And then those kids got to play on the field at halftime and stuff like that. It was a really, really good atmosphere.
Yeah.
It was the first thing former player Ray Troshi came to the game, and the first thing he said when he got there, he was like, "This atmosphere is awesome."
Yeah.
He said it feels like a college game here. He's like, you got the kids, you got this. He's like, it was just great. And he said it makes me want to get out there. He's like, I want to get out and play.
We want him out there too.
Yeah, I know. My God. But it was a really great atmosphere from everyone. It was a really good event and a nice thing to be a part of. And then after the game, everyone was able to get together for the dinner, and we had Ketchum players and family stay and stuff like that. It was really well attended. It was nice. It was really, really nice. Really good job. The only thing, is that we couldn't stick the ball in the back of the net, but I'm still viewing it as a positive because I really think just in us having this conversation right now and going, well, Uriel hit the post and went to the goalie, and then we hit the crossbar, and then we did this, and then we did that.
Yeah.
So like we had those chances, right? And in the previous games when we won, if we were talking about our Arlington game, we didn't have all those chances.
Yeah.
All those chances weren't even there. So yeah, we and we tell the players that it's just a numbers game and that you can't have to convert every time. So the fact that we generated more opportunities, even though I was dissatisfied with the number, is, running back through my head and talking with you, it was definitely a big step in the right direction. Unfortunately, is the kind of maddening nature of the game sometimes. Like I said, our two best performances are our loss and our draw.
Yeah. Yeah, and just going back to that dinner, you're right. So after the game, we have this dinner hosted by our booster club. We've got to give
Shout them
thanks
out.
to,
Yeah.
yes, to Mr. and Mrs. Lurs who run our booster club program. They are just unbelievable people. The Petersons, Garrett graduated a couple of years ago. They don't even have kids in the program anymore. They were there tonight supporting and helping out. And Mrs. Boetti is very instrumental in the booster club. Really, I think
Mrs.
she's
Mrs.
Mrs.
Reverso.
Mrs. Lurs' right hand man is
Yeah.
right hand woman, I guess, is Mrs. Boetti. Mrs. Reverso very involved. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
just we have such a wonderful group of parents at John Jay year in and year out. These parents just keep passing it on to the next person, and Mrs. Lurs is just wonderful, right? Anytime she asks us anything, we always thank her, and she always replies with "Happy to help. I'm happy to help," and we are just so happy to have her, and to have her kids, Jason, who graduated last year, and now Julian, who's a junior, very skillful, talented player. And just really sweet kid, and Mr. and Mrs. Lurs are just awesome people, unbelievable people, and so giving to John Jay and to the soccer community. And I know Mr. Lurs coached Jason in Wappinger's travel years ago, so I think this was a kind of a nice night for them too, because they had, played and coached in the Wappingers, soccer club. So to see, Wappingers and East Fishkill teams out there at halftime playing, I think was special for them. And it was awesome to see, Coach Axelson, who's on the J side, and Coach Chappis, who's on the Ketchum side, get youth teams out there and play at halftime. So yeah, you're right. Ray does bring up a great point. It was a really, really cool atmosphere tonight. Wish we would have won the game, but it was maybe fitting that we tied, because it was really nice for both programs, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get another chance, right? We on Tuesday next week, we're going to go to Ketchum for, the other back end of the home and home. And we'll see if we can stick it in the back of the net there, right?
Yep. So that's a 4:30 start on Tuesday at Ketchum. That'll be on Local Live, right? And then on Saturday we go to Spring Valley. So Spring Valley is one of these new teams that are in our league: Spring Valley, North Rockland, and Ramapo, who we haven't played yet. These are new league games for us, and it should be a good week.
As luck would have it, right? Like Spring Valley, I believe, was in the Ossining Summer League, and we just happened to not play them. Well, like we
Was
could
that
have,
right? I didn't realize that.
yeah, they were in there, and we just didn't play them. So we could have had some sort of look at them, but I have no idea,
Right.
anything what to expect. So, at the end of the day, we just have to improve the way we play and kind
Right.
of see how things go,
Right. Yeah, I think our coaching philosophies have really been for a long time just sort of focus on us, right? We're always just concerned about us and how can we play better. We very rarely really worry about, the opposing team and what the opposing team brings. All these teams have good soccer players. They have fast guys. They have big guys, strong guys, guys that are really talented on the ball. And it kind of doesn't take more than 5 minutes to figure out, right? Like who's the speedy guy on the opposing team, and who's the guy with the really good left foot on the opposing team, and who's the guy who's really skillful, who's maybe, the soft, defender that, maybe you might be able to pick on and get the ball on that side and match up, one of your best guys against. We always tell our players early on, shoot the ball, get a good look at the goalkeeper, see what we've got, in terms of somebody in the net, and then you just make the adjustments, as the game goes on. And that's what we always talk to our players about. Again, going back to this soccer IQ thing, just pay attention to the game, pay attention to what's going on. But like you say, more than anything else, just focus on us. We've got enough issues with our own team. We don't really worry about, we don't have to worry about, Spring Valley and what they're going to bring. But when we did play White Plains said that they were a very good team. He said that they're a lot better than you would think they are. So he said, I think they beat Spring Valley 2-0, if memory serves me correct from what he said. But he said that was not indicative of the game. He said it was a really good game. And, White Plains was one of those games that we won, but, didn't play particularly well. And so White Plains has a good team. So I'm sure, on Tuesday at Ketchum, is going to be tough. We couldn't beat them on our home field. So it's certainly going to be tough to beat them at Ketchum. And then Saturday going to Spring Valley, long bus ride. But hopefully we'll have a good week of practice here, and we'll be able to get on the turf a couple times, I think, this week, which is always nice. And, we'll run the guys hard, work the guys hard. I think the blessing is that we are a very fit team, and we've really worked hard on fitness, really from our winter program all the way through the summer and now into the fall. We've really worked hard on fitness. And that, along with our goalkeeping, has saved us, right? Because like you say, Coach, we're not defending well, and teams are sort of running us all over the field, but we are able to run all over the field.
Yeah.
But to your point, we want our guys to be running on the offensive end. Sean Vibrock's running almost 7 miles in a game. 5 of those miles are probably on defense. We'd like it the other way around. We'd like him to run 2 miles on defense and 5 miles on the offensive end. But I've got faith in us as coaches. I've got faith in our guys. We know that we can play better than we're playing. We played really well tonight. I thought, again, we'll see what the stats say, but I am, looking forward to getting those stats, but also looking forward to just watching the game film again, and seeing see what we did well and what we could have done a little bit better.
Yeah, because sometimes when we watch it back, like we did a couple of weeks ago, things don't look nearly as bad the second time through as,
true.
there's sometimes we think, man, we look terrible. And you watch it back and I'm like, oh, it's really not that bad. You kind of take your emotion out of it and the end result, and you kind of be a little more objective, or sometimes this was actually really bad. But I think more often than not, when we watch game film back, and again, like you said, we're always just watching ourselves generally, right? Like we watch a ton of film, and it's almost never to see what someone else is doing, because like we have to address all of our problems. We have a laundry list of them that we have to figure out before I can worry about what you're doing. But I think more often than not, we watch back and go, oh, you know what? We actually didn't play as bad as we felt we did. It was actually a little more back and forth, because during it, we have this expectation of how we want our guys to play, and then kind of you deal with
Which is
it.
perfect, right? Which is
perfect.
Yeah. That's our expectation,
Yeah.
We want them to make perfect decisions every time, but you're right, yeah. Yep, you are correct, Coach. As always. You are correct.
I wish. I'll clip this and play it for my wife tomorrow. All right.
So speaking of your wife, she's got a big morning tomorrow, no?
Yeah, she's running the half marathon up by the walkway over the Hudson and stuff like that. I myself not running. Someone, as if you can believe that, But yeah, she's gotten into running these last couple of years. She runs with Sparrow's Nest. Organization that provides meals for local families who have people who have cancer and stuff like that. So this will be the third one, I want to say, that she's on. This is not for them. She's just running a whole nother one, but she's running in November, I think, for Sparrow's Nest. But they're doing another half marathon tomorrow. She's going with 2 of her friends. Just listen, she's a much better person than me for doing that.
It's awesome.
Right?
No, it's awesome. It's awesome.
So yeah.
So how long does that take? Like 2.5 hours, 3 hours?
It took her 2.5 hours last time.
Wow.
So she's hoping to do a little bit better this time. She ran it one time down at Ocean City, Maryland, which she said was tough. And then she ran one at West Point, which she thought she was going to do worse because it's very hilly, but she actually improved upon that. So we'll see. By the time I got home from our game at like 9:15, she had been asleep for a while. So she's getting some rest, and she's yeah. I got to put soundproofing in this room. That'll be the next step.
Yeah. What time is the race begin tomorrow?
I want to say it starts at 7.
Wow.
It's early. Yeah, it's early. But listen, in our house, that's not early. That's regular time.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
you've
regular
got a young
time.
one. Yeah. Delaney gets you up. Yeah. Nice and early.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. You've got a young daughter, and I've got old guys that, sleep until 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Right?
You're dragging them out of bed for lunch. I will be at Hope Waha Bagels at 7:10 tomorrow morning. No matter what.
Yep. But 18 years ago, I was doing the same thing, right? Those young kids, they just get up early, but as they get older, then they appreciate, sleeping in a little bit. But, well, good luck to Dana. We're definitely rooting for her.
Thank you.
Like you, I'm not going to be running with her, but I'll be rooting her on. And yeah, Sparrow's Nest, and this one is not for Sparrow's Nest.
No.
Yeah, but Sparrow's Nest, what a great organization that is. Yeah, it's, I think, like Miles of Hope, right? I mean, just these organizations that help these local people dealing with, with cancer and all the, feeding the families and everything. It's just Really, really tough stuff. I mean, we complain about soccer, but I mean, boy, that is just really what matters most.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, good luck to Dana tomorrow, and yeah, and you enjoy the day with her, at least part of the day, 2.5 hours with Delaney, while while your wife is running over the Hudson and then back.
I'll be
I believe
spending the morning vacuuming the pool so that when she comes home, she can go swimming.
I love it. I know I told you today after the field hockey game, I did the announcing of the field hockey game, and I came home just because I wanted to swim in our pool. We're going to close it on Tuesday, and 67 degrees, but I love it, Coach. I really do. I love
67. That's not, isn't that, do your lips get blue? That's like blue lips temperature.
Well, so you know me with swimming, because I've told you this, many times before. I just go in for 5 minutes, and then I come back out and I sit in the sun. And then when I dry off, I go back in. I don't know why. It's just, I guess I'm old, but you've got, like you said, you've got a young daughter. So she's going to be in there, for an hour, 2 hours, you're going to have to pull her out and, worry about these swimmers here and stuff like that. Again, I lived those days where we'd go to CVS and Landon would get swimmers here all the time. Love to swim though, like Delaney. I mean, he was just a fish in that water. Austin, not so much. He did swim, but God, Landon loved to swim. Yeah, just like Delaney. So good for you. Heat that pool up tomorrow, and might be the last day that you get to enjoy it before you close it up for the winter. Yeah, stinks, but
listen, we'll take it. It's September 28th tomorrow,
beautiful,
and I'm going to be in the pool. If you told me that I was going to do that, then I'd sign up for that every year.
I got more good news for you tomorrow, Coach. The Jets are not going to lose tomorrow. How about that, right? Look at that.
They can't ruin my Sunday for a change. It's nice, yeah, The Mets still can.
Right, and likely will. For those not understanding that the Jets are playing Miami on Monday night, so they'll still likely lose this week. But hey, you never know. They got to win at some point. What are they? 0-3 like the Giants? Yeah. So yeah, it's rough for football in New York so far, in the NFL anyway. But all right, well, Coach, I will let you go. I will let you get some sleep, and thanks again for 18 weeks in a row here. We've done this. This is awesome. I love talking to you.
I love it.
Love talking soccer.
I look forward to it every week. It's very cathartic.
Yes, that is true. That is a good point. Yes,
it is.
Yes. Yep. All right. Well, thanks again. Yeah.
No, thank you. We will be back next week to talk about our second catching game, the Spring Valley game, and everything that happens in between. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Go Dana, run fast.
Yes, go Dana.
Take care. Bye-bye.